Hi everyone, and welcome to my presentation on the final design report, the last of the phases in the Multiworks phase package. The report's intended to be an all-encompassing package that traces back to the first phase through research development and schematic proposals. The research for Phase 1 focused heavily on exploring what the definition of community was, and the realization that community was about sharing. This concept of sharing was explored through researching public and private spaces, with consideration given to outdoor public spaces, and also the draw of water. Diagramming helped me to explore some of the key concepts of community hubs. This included how users circulate through and into space and the transition between separate and shared spaces. This precedent research also offered some insight into the schedule of accommodation that was required for the design too. The final design was comprised of a public space, library, swimming pool and community kitchen and greenhouse, with the aim of drawing a wide demographic to the area with broad amenities. I've utilised sectional perspectives through the phases to emphasise how courtyards act as a focal point that draw people into buildings. I've also explored how precedents set by Te Reo Ando promote a sense of calm and reflection within buildings. While the form's secondary to the development of the design, it was purposely designed to be restrained and elemental. This is because I wanted a simplified material requirement for construction and also to provide a sense of transparency. The hub was designed to be a beacon within the community, so it's to be centrally located in a village that draws the community together, not only as a source of amenities, but also somewhere to gather and socialise. The courtyard was at the heart of the design of the hub. It encourages users to pause and reflect and to gather and share. Sharing's really been the paramount focus of the community hub design throughout all the phases. Before deciding on multi-generational housing as a typology for my case study house, I focused my research on questioning the notion of what a house is and could be. From here, some key drivers started to emerge that I focused precedent studies on. I researched both single and multi-house dwellings by prominent architects. Particularly interesting precedents were found in the works of Te Reo Ando's work and Alejandro Aravena. By unpacking the ideas from different multi-generational precedents, specific concepts started to be created to turn into physical spaces. The concepts of indoor, outdoor, public, private, separate, shared were all explored in order to accommodate and celebrate multiple families living in one space. As with the hub design, a shared experience was key to creating a home for multiple generations. A variety of sharing drivers explored the different concepts of sharing throughout the design. This research and synthesis of precedents resulted in this final design. The design provides a combination of public and private spaces, and it sits within a flexible footprint. While the case study house is a siteless design, what became clear after research was the importance of outdoor space, not so much about the site itself, but a continuation of public, private and shared spaces that drive the interior design. The theme of sharing's been important in the case study house design just as much as the community hub. The uniqueness of multi-generational living is really celebrated through cross-generational sharing and gathering of micro-communities within the building. While Phase 1 and 2 are separate designs, the hub and case study should really be seen as a whole. Key drivers span both phases of public and private spaces, both indoors and outdoors. This idea of gathering are the embodiment of the same concept that the community is sharing. Just as a postscript, I think it's important to note that community's not really unconditional and fixed. Kindness and sharing create a community that would otherwise degrade. While this multi-phase works package celebrates community, it's also important to remember that it shouldn't be taken for granted and it really needs to be fostered appropriately. That brings me to the end of the multi-phase works package. Thanks very much for listening.